Thank you, sir. Sitting between you and your day, I'm not going to take much time. Just wanted to, brush you up in terms of like where we were in, let's say, 96, 97. So 96, 97, as you must have seen, so that's the period where I have started my career, and at that point in time, I started my career with US Department of Agriculture, and I was fondly called by my colleagues as you're a spy for the US government, actually, because why it was called. What we used to do is we used to roam around with the industry people, network with them, and know about what the market trends are, and we put in the Indian production, and USDA has these offices across the world. And they combine this data and they put this data into the internet to tell what is the cotton production likely to be, or what are the agriculture production likely to be. Why is USDA interested in? For those of you who are not aware, US is a large exporter of agriculture commodities. About 70% of what it produces in value terms is exported, and so they are actually behind market intelligence, actually. So that is where I'm coming to, where in 1996, when we started cotton, covering cotton, when I started my career covering cotton and everything, so cotton used to be about 10, 12 lakh bales or something like that, and the productivity was pretty much lower and things like that. And all of a sudden in 2000, what happened was like, this biotechnology cotton, biotech cotton, got illegally sown, and biotech cotton got approved basically because, government had no other option but to approve the biotech cotton. And this, phenomenon of biotech cotton and the hybridisation of the cotton led to a huge, cotton production improvement. And that was the time, India became a net exporter of cotton, actually, rather than being an importer of cotton. But there is another sad story. Despite having plenty of electricity, water, everything, I mean, we export cotton. We don't export the value-added products, actually. So that's the other part of the story, actually. So coming back to, so when I joined MCX, so I'm an agriculture economist by training, and I joined MCX not by accident, but by way of a particular selection that this market, the derivative market, came into being because derivative markets were liberalized as part of the agricultural policy, actually, so as to provide farmers, provide every producers a competitive market to hedge their products, because world is globalizing. And it came in 2000, and those of you who remember, 2000 was the year when India formally signed WTO and adopted WTO to go for a freer trade, actually. So this is to provide competitiveness. So having said that, so cotton is being tried as a cotton derivative in the markets for a long period in time and things like that, actually. So cotton as such is not an accidental commodity into commodity derivatives. So those of you aware of the history, I wish Suresh Bhai is there along with us, actually, but it is actually in 1860s when America had this reprisal, actually, of the farmers in Texas, which is the major cotton growing state in US, and which was supplying Manchester a lot of cotton to UK, went into a deep trouble, actually. Supplies from Texas were uncertain. So the Britishers, who were colonizing India, looked at India as a better source for cotton and things like that. But they brought in not only procurement, they also brought in the culture of forward trading and future trading. So I can proudly today say we are as old as the stock exchanges in the country, actually. So this is going to be the trend of the day. So, sir, here I would like to tend to little differ away from you, despite your wonderful, thought points that we need to, disrupt the technology, actually. But here, the technology, the fashion or the brands is going to give you a margin which cannot be depleted by anything as long as you build this fashion and the brand, actually. But a lot of the businesses who supply the raw material to these, the fashion and the brand manufacturers, actually, are dependent on margins, actually. So what these margins are, what your raw material costs are, and what your output prices are, actually. So as long as you lock in your raw material prices, you're not going to bother about what price that you can give, and some of the presenters in the previous panel also talked about the profitability and sustainability. And profitability comes into being when you know this is your input cost and this is your output cost, and so this is your margin and you're going to get it actually. So that you can get in by locking in your costs into the market. And I'm here to tell you that, this is the way that you can actually become more competitive in the market, and so thereby you can make India a competitive textile manufacturer and also reduce the raw material exports, which is cotton exports, and we become fashion exporters and brand exporters to the world actually. So that's in short. And we just wanted to introduce the cotton derivative contract that we have. So we started with one, which is the Rajkot Khadi based pricing, but later we introduced 5 more delivery centers to become much more relevant to the industry, so that anybody and everybody, all the ginners who wanted to deliver their cotton can access it. So we have about 5, so which is a 25 bale contract, and the deliverable quantity is 100 bales actually, and the contract gets introduced for me so that you can lock in the November prices actually. So that's another advantage, that you lock in your November prices, so you can give a price over to your the procurement person who is procuring it from you as an input for him actually. So a humble request to you is to take the knowledge about these markets to you, to the constituency that you represent. Another thing that we talked about, sustainability. Sustainability doesn't come in. So I was just talking to Mr. Parekh about it. He fondly mentioned that the year in which the largest cotton production was the year, that is where large number of suicides happened in India actually. So that is basically because unplanned cotton cultivation leads to pressures in cotton, and that pressure leads to income realization actually. So the farmers need to be sustainable, and so if you are in the area that you are working in and you know any FPOs who are organizing farmers into a group who can be helped in terms of providing a better cotton prices to them, let us know. We'll be happy to educate them, we'll be happy to handhold them, get into the market, lock in their prices and get a better price realization for them. Thank you.